Today we'll talk a little bit more about stamp varieties of Germany. Do you remember some of the specifics we talked about in previous videos? Yes, I'm sure you have, and you do. And we will just use this video as a refresher to some of those varieties and perhaps a few more. As we look at these two partial sheets, one in flat plate printing on the left and one in rotary printing on the right, we can see visually at a glance 8 visual differences. Yes, 8. Doesn't seem likely, but yes, there are 8. So let's take a look at one at a time. The visible differences are, in the case of the left block of 4, based on the margin, it tells us these are of the flat plate printing. Whereas the 2 blocks on the right are of the rotary type printing. Top margins and bottom margins, or left side and right side margins. Then we see in each case horizontal pairs of the flat plate and horizontal pairs of the rotary type printing, each one with its own catalog value. And then going a little further, on the flat plate printing, we always have a plate number someplace on the sheet margin. And on the rotary type printing, we usually, but not always, have the printer's number or printer's mark. It could also be letters instead of a number. And then we have the sheet number on the margin. Well, the sheet number, so far I have not seen any listings. Maybe someday they will, but at this point, no listing. So as you can see, differences in the margin do have differences in catalog value, and actually a fair amount. As opposed to a single stamp by itself has a very low catalog value here of 30 cents for mint not hinged. Now, we talked about the visible differences. The not visible differences are, of course, the fluorescence or not, smooth gum or ribbed gum, and so far no watermark or plate flaws have been listed. So anyways, all these things for just one stamp, or one sheet of stamps, I should say. In any of the previous examples, it is clear to see that any variation to just the single stamp can vary the actual value at times quite a bit. A good catalog is key, in my opinion. All the stamps in this video use the same criteria: margins, pairs, gum, etc. At a glance, we have a flat plate printing, and we show top margin pairs or horizontal pairs or vertical pairs. And some of these are listed. The pairs are listed for sure. And same as before, best value with printer sign, 5 right here on the margin. And these typically appear on the rotary printing. And that one too, catalogs at about $50. So not bad. The sheet margin showing the sheet number, again, as I mentioned before, has no listing at this point. But top margins also are listed with a little premium to the single stamp. And here, another example of flat plate printing. So far on this particular value, only gum types and pairs are listed. On some stamps, as we call it, the perfed through the top margin is listed as opposed to another value for the not perfed through to the top margin. So that holds true primarily for some of the occupation series of Germany after 1945. So all that also need to be looked at carefully. And again, a proper specialized catalog will give you most all of this information. And again, same as the previous, best value in this case is the horizontal pair, which is up to $15 for mint not hinged. Only a few stamps from this set are mentioned here. And yes, many are of lower value, but not to overlook the good ones. Checking accurately with a good reference might turn the day into a better one. In a future video, I will also talk about coil stamps of this and other series. Thank you so very much for watching, and hopefully you might consider subscribing to my channel. Thank you so much. Yes, as we just talked about, even simple, plain, inexpensive stamps can have an increased catalog value by just additional markings on the margins or in multiples or other characteristics as we have discussed. My channel, Stamps Space MyFunThings.